everyone. I'm so glad that you're here for my story today. Thank you for coming and listening to the story from the Bible. We are learning from the book of Matthew, where we're learning all about the life of Jesus, the things that he did while he was here on earth. Today we're going to be talking more about how Jesus is the boss. He is in charge of everything. There is nothing that Jesus is not in charge of. He is in charge of everything. He is the boss. What we're going to be talking about today is how Jesus is the boss even over his enemies. Now, what is an enemy? An enemy is someone who is usually not on the same side as someone else. Usually they have different ideas about maybe the same thing. And this enemy of God is the enemy of God because he wants to be in charge. But God is in charge. He is the boss over everything. This enemy of God has a name, and his name is Satan, and he has some helpers, and their names are demons. Now, they are against God, and they are only around to hurt people. They do not want to help. But Jesus is the opposite. He came to earth to help people, to heal people, to make them better. Now, remember, Satan is God's enemy, but who is in charge? God is, and God is in charge even over his enemy, Satan. So in our story today, we're going to hear about how Jesus is the boss. He can tell his enemy what to do, and his enemy has to listen. Now, when Jesus came across the water in the boat, remember last week we found out that Jesus was in the middle of the storm, and with the wind and the waves, he stood up and he said, "Be still," and the wind and the waves listened. That was such a cool story. Jesus is the boss over the wind and the waves. This week, Jesus gets to the other side of the lake, and when he gets out of the boat, there's these two men that come running towards them, and they are yelling and screaming, and they look very angry and hurt, and the disciples were very, very concerned about who these people were. But Jesus wasn't. Jesus was not worried about what these men were going to do or how they were going to talk to them. When Jesus saw these two men, he saw that they were hurting and that they needed help. And so instead of being afraid of them, he was ready to help them, which is just what he did. Satan was hurting them, and so Jesus told Satan and his followers and his helpers to leave these men alone. And guess what? They had to, because Jesus is the boss. He is in charge over everything, even his enemies. He is the boss, and he is in charge of everything. He is the ruler, the king, the one in charge over all of the earth, everything in the earth and on the earth and over the earth. Jesus is the boss of it all. Do you know what? I feel so safe knowing that Jesus always wants to help me. He is always on my side, and he wants to be my friend and help me when I'm in trouble, help me when I'm hurt. If I'm feeling hurt, I can talk to Jesus about it, and so can you. You can tell Jesus anytime that you are hurting and that you need help. You can tell Jesus you need help. Now, that's all I have for my story today. I hope you have a great week, everyone, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.